a way to stay motivated. Okay, you need to find a way to stay consistent with what you need to do. You need to find a way to stay disciplined, and that's why I've decided to put this material together to just enlighten you. Some people do not really need this thing because this thing of motivation, it comes to them naturally. They cannot even explain how they stay motivated, but somehow they just stay on course until they do the exam, and then that's it. Even if they fail, they do it again. I once worked with a woman that before she met me, she had taken IELTS 6 times. And she told me that she's going to keep on taking the exam until she passes. Interesting thing is that she has passed now and she's in the UK now. So there are some people like that. There's nothing that the failure wants to do to them. They will just keep on doing the thing. They have already made up their mind. But then you have some people that they really need to train themselves to learn to see things from a new angle. And that's what I call perspective. I'm going to talk about that later on. So, how do we stay motivated? Let me start with this very important point. There are two types of motivation. Some of these I'm going to be sharing tonight. There are things that some of you have probably heard before. You know before, maybe you read it somewhere or you've heard someone talk about it. But then I want you to listen and follow closely with an open mind. Okay. So there are two types of motivation. There is intrinsic motivation and there is extrinsic motivation. What do we mean by intrinsic motivation? That is the kind of motivation that comes from inside of you. Okay, it comes from the inside of you. Extrinsic basically is a motivation that is based on something that happens on the outside. Okay, so a very good example is money. Okay, when somebody says, okay, if you help me do this and this, I will give you X amount of money. I'll give you $200. I'll give you $500. That person is trying to use what? Extrinsic motivation. But then if somebody comes to you and says, okay, if you do this, you're going to enjoy this if you actually do this. That person is trying to appeal to your what? Intrinsic motivator. Something on the inside of you. It's telling that what? You're going to enjoy it if you do this. Okay, it's telling that okay, if you do this, you're going to feel happier, you're going to feel more calm, more peaceful. The person is appealing to what? To some kind of what? Intrinsic motivational factor inside of you. So for you to stay on course in terms of following through with your IELTS journey, you need to learn to maximize intrinsic motivation. What you need to major on is the what? Is the intrinsic motivation engine. I believe there's some, let's call it intrinsic motivation engine, okay, on the inside of you. And all of us have it. We just need to learn how to switch it on. We need to learn how to use that intrinsic motivational force that is on the inside of us. Okay. Now, what is the foundation for that intrinsic motivation? It's what I'll call it a picture of what is possible. A picture of what is possible. You see, before I took my IELTS test, the first thing I asked myself is this: what can I do with this exam? And you need to ask yourself that also. I know some of you actually have answers to that question, but then you need to keep that picture before you. Okay, you need to keep that picture before you. It needs to become clear. Okay, what can you do with your IELTS test? Okay, you can relocate to Canada. What does it mean to be able to live in Canada? What opportunities will you be able to tap into if you are living in a country like Canada? What opportunities would you be able to tap into if you are living in a country like the United States? In terms of income, in terms of career development opportunities, in terms of a better life for yourself and your family, for your children or for your unborn children. If you don't have children yet, if you are not married yet, you need to keep that picture before you. Okay, you need to keep it before you. You need to imagine yourself in that scenario. That's how you build up your intrinsic motivator. This is an exercise that you engage in every day. That's why I said that the way you brush your teeth every day. Almost everybody takes the time to brush their teeth every day. Okay, we don't really need to motivate ourselves to do that because we appreciate the value, we understand the importance. Okay, the same way you need to take the time to look at these all important desire of yours every day. This IELTS, this is the end game. We are going to Canada. I'm going to the UK. I'm going to the United States. I'm going to Australia. Okay, what am I going to be doing there? I have the opportunity to earn XYZ amount of money. I have the opportunity to do this. If I'm able to earn this kind of money, this is the kind of life I'll be able to build for myself and my family. Keep that picture before you. Refresh it every day. See yourself in that country. See yourself working with people in that country. See yourself working with white people. Use your imagination. You see, one of the things that many of us have not learned to do is how to use this our mind to dream big dreams for ourselves. It's extremely important. We need to learn how to do that. Learn to use your word, learn to use your imagination positively. The mistake many people make is that they use it negatively. They imagine the negative things. And because of that, fear builds up in their mind. And eventually, that fear paralyzes them. So you need to flip the coin and begin to use your imagination positively. Okay, you need to start using your word, using your imagination positively. What do I mean? Imagine what is possible. Imagine yourself in that country that you really want to go to. Imagine yourself interacting with the residents of that country, the white people in that country. Imagine yourself working with them, working for them. Imagine yourself hiring some of them. Imagine yourself in business partnership with them. Imagine studying with them. Imagine asking a white man, a lecturer who is a white man, asking the person questions in the lecture hall, and then the person answers you. It's somebody said it's not a crime to dream big. Nobody will arrest you for dreaming big. Doing that will help you to reinforce this desire, and it's something that will keep you going. It's got something that will keep you going, because I'm telling you, in this IELTS journey, you're going to see a lot of discouraging things that will happen, especially when you start practicing questions. You cannot afford to allow yourself to be discouraged by those things. So your foundation is what? Is the strong desire, that strong reasons that are based on a clear dream and vision of what is possible, of what can be. Okay? What is possible for you, for your family, okay, for your children, for your generation after you. What you need to clarify in your mind. So this is the foundation. You see that it's not sit on a chair or at a table, or you could even do it in your bedroom. Take the time to think about the future that you are working towards, and refresh that dream every day. Refresh that dream every day. I love something that the Bible says. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, that it may run that reads it. So when your vision of the future is clear before you, the energy to run comes automatically. It's just a natural thing. It's a scriptural principle. So you have to keep that vision before you, and then you have to, let that vision become your what? Your motivator. So that's number one, a clear vision. A clear vision of what you stand to benefit by succeeding with your IELTS. That's number one. Number two way to stay motivated is that you need to keep a record of your progress. Okay? Keep a record of every progress that you make, every exercise that you do, every, lesson that you attend. Keep records. Okay? The fact that you attended a lesson today is a small win. I've worked with students who pay for my classes and they don't attend classes. For one reason or the other, some of them get over engaged with work. Some of them just get distracted by some other activities on social media. Different reasons. But then, if you're able to attend a class, I'm telling you, it's a plus for you. It's a win. You should pat yourself on the back for that. Okay? If you're able to do an assignment, there are sometimes I will give people assignments and then they will send me the snapshot of what they've done. And probably they will score maybe, let me give an example, maybe 27 over 40. And I'll give the person thumbs up. And the person will reply and say, I failed. I got 27 over 40. And I will tell the person, I didn't give you thumbs up because of your score. I gave you thumbs up because you did it. Some students don't do my assignments. So the fact that you did an assignment, even if your score was low, let's leave the scores for now. I'll talk about the score later on. The fact that you did the assignment is a plus. It's a win. You should celebrate yourself for that. Celebrate every small win. Okay? So you attend classes, it's a good thing, it's a plus. You do the assignments, it's a plus. Number 3, you got some questions wrong, my dear. Even if you scored 27 over 40, you got 27 questions right. That's a plus. Okay, somebody says, I didn't get 27, I got 17. Well, you got 17 questions right. That's still a plus. Even if it's 7 questions you got right, it's something to celebrate. So it's not all gloomy. So don't think about the questions you got wrong and feel bad about them. No. Think about the ones you got right and be assured that, okay, at least I have learned some things. I got these ones right. I've learned how to handle these ones. So that's what I mean by what? Celebrate every small win. Celebrate every small win is extremely important. Okay? I hope you are following me. If you are following me, let me see your message. Drop a message in the chat box. Let me see who is following me. Let me know. Let me know who is still with me and who is following me closely. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Drop a message in the chat box. So celebrate every small win. Very, very important. Okay? Okay, thank you very much. I can see your message. Now let's look at that other side. For those of you that are thinking, okay, I scored 17 over 40. That's less than half. I scored 7 over 40. That's very terrible. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you. Is straight on the screen. Failure is success in progress. You need to write that down somewhere. Okay? Failure is what? Is success in progress. The road to success is built by an engineer called failure. Okay? Is built by an engineer called what? Failure. And let me give you this scenario. When it comes to success in IELTS, there are 2 ways to approach it. It's either you learn by failing while practicing, or you learn by failing many real exams before you eventually pass. Okay? What do I mean? Somebody practices. So what I usually do is that I recommend that people do a minimum of 40 full reading tests before their exam day. That's what I recommend. A minimum of 40 full reading tests and 60 listening tests. Okay? Now, in the process of doing 40 to 60 tests, you're going to experience a lot of failures. You get a lot of wrong answers. You get a lot of wrong answers. Your job is to take those wrong answers and use them as a springboard to learn. Turn failures into lessons. Okay? Take those wrong answers and use them to learn. Okay? Now, the mistake some people make is that they will not practice questions before the exam day. They will just enter into the exam hall and then they will just do something and then they will fail. And then after that failure, they will now go back and take some time to think about their life. Like some people will say, think about their life and think about the fact that they've wasted a lot of money and a lot of time. Okay? And after thinking, they will register for the exam again. And then they will fail the second time. And then they will come back again and say, what's going on? They will think again, think again. And then they will register for the exam again. And then they will go and take the exam. And then maybe the 3rd time or the 4th time or the 5th time, I don't know. It depends on the person and the situation. Okay? But somewhere along the line, eventually they will pass. Now, which one is better? To experience those failures in practice or in the real exam? It's better to experience the failures in practice, not in the real exam. So turn failure into what? Into stepping stones that lead you on to success. And how can you do that? You can only do that by what? by learning from failure. So take every wrong answer. After solving your IELTS listening exercise, after solving your IELTS reading exercise, take the wrong answers and learn from them. Okay, this is it. Remember what I said earlier on at the beginning? I said that what? There's extrinsic motivation and there's intrinsic motivation. When somebody practices IELTS reading and the person gets maybe 38 over 40, that person gets excited and the person is motivated to practice more. Or in some cases, the person will be motivated to say, I can handle this thing. I don't need to practice again because of just 137 over 40. That's a big error. Okay, so that person is motivated. This thing is very easy. I can get a good score, and so the person stops practicing. What that person has done is that what the person has used extrinsic motivation to confuse themselves. Okay, assuming that person got a score of maybe 17 over 40, that 17 over 40 will still have been a kind of extrinsic motivation to tell them that you cannot pass this exam. You are very poor. You cannot do it in this exam. That's still extrinsic motivation. But somebody who is intrinsically motivated will look at that 17 over 40 and say, okay, all these 23 questions that I got wrong, I need to do something about them. What was my mistake? How did I arrive at these wrong answers? What can I learn about these my wrong answers? How did they arrive at their correct answers? So, okay, I said my own answer is true, but from the textbook, the answer is not given. Okay, how did they arrive at not giving? Those are things you sit down and figure out. That's how you learn from what? You learn about the tricks, okay, of the examiners. So as we are practicing, as we are going through the lessons, as we are practicing and going through the lessons and practicing and going through the lessons and doing all these things, what are you doing? You are learning, you are growing, you are building up your vocabulary, okay, and you are improving. That's what's happening. So we are starting at a point, and then you make some mistakes, you fall, you do some self-correction, you persist, and then you grow. And then you do another exercise, you get some poor scores, you fall, and then you do some self-correction, you move up again, and then you grow. Your vocabulary is growing. Number one, your vocabulary is growing. Number two, your mental tenacity is growing. Mental grit, mental hardiness, mental toughness is growing. Your vocabulary is growing. Your smartness is growing. Okay? Your ability to identify the tricks of examiners is growing. All those things cannot grow if you are not persistent. All those things cannot grow if you are not internally motivated. And remember where that internal motivation comes from. It comes from what? A picture of the life I'm going to be enjoying if I'm able to enter this country that I want to go to. That is what is motivating you. A picture of a brighter future for you. Okay? So you have to persist. Okay? And stay motivated from the inside of you. Okay? Let your desire continue to push you forward. Okay? Another thing is this. You need to surround yourself with the right set of people. Okay? Don't hang around people who have failed IELTS and who think you cannot pass. This is extremely important. I'm going to tell you 2 types of people that you should not hang around. You should not spend like that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, don't spend too much time around people who have passed IELTS and who tell you that you can pass it by just doing some things that will not work for you. Let me explain what I mean by that. There are some things that work for some people that will not work for you because you are different from them. Okay? Some people will tell you, this IELTS is not that hard now. I just watched YouTube videos for 2 weeks and I took the exam and I got band 8.0. Why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your money? Why are you practicing? My dear, you are not like them. That's the interesting thing. You are not like them. So before you follow their advice, ask yourself, did I go to the same school as this person? Number two, did I grow up in the same home as this person? Let me explain that issue of growing up in the same home. This is the pattern I've noticed. People that score band 7.5 in writing and listening, 7.5, 8.5, 8.0 in writing and listening. Those people, majority of them grew up in homes where they started speaking English right from a young age. They started reading right from a young age. They enjoyed reading right from a young age. And many of them started writing small, small stuff, small poems, small stories right from a young age. So if you are not like that, and you think that, okay, you can do what that person did, and maybe that person grew up in that kind of home, you're going to be, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot. Your background matters. The environment where you grew up in matters. Those are things that determine how rich your English vocabulary will be. Okay, so don't say that because XYZ just watched YouTube videos and then he did it for he just do some 2 or 3 practices for 1 week or 2 weeks. You too, you want to do the same. Or this, no, don't compare yourself to others. Okay, take the time, understand yourself, and surround yourself with the right set of people that believe in you. Okay, it could be your wife, it could be your husband. Well, I've noticed that majority of people that take IELTS are females. I don't understand. I still don't understand why that is. Guys generally are not commonly into this IELTS of it, or relocation of a thing. Ladies push it more. That's okay. I've seen husbands that really encourage their wives to go for it. I know a man that just kept on paying for her wife's exam until she passed. I think they paid like 3 or 4 times, and then she eventually passed. So it's good to have a supportive spouse. But then if your spouse is not supportive, you are not limited to your spouse, my dear. The list is long. Look at the list. You have some brothers or sisters that can encourage you. Okay? You have some cousins that can encourage you. You have a parent or an uncle or an auntie that can encourage you. You have some of us, you need to look up to some of your children to encourage you. Our children can be marvelous encouragers if you give them the opportunity. If you tell them what's going on, you'll be surprised. So don't underestimate your children, no matter how young they are. Okay? Make them part of your dream team. Tell them this is what he's doing. I want you to encourage me. Oh yeah, tell me something to encourage me. And then you're going to be surprised with what that little girl will tell you. So your child can encourage you. Your friend can encourage you. Okay? Your colleague at work can encourage you. Could be a senior colleague, could be your direct boss. Okay? And then we have some people who are accountability partners. They are profession. That's their profession. They work virtually. You just pay them, and then what they do is that every morning they will call you and give you some kind of motivation to tell you, okay, this is what you are doing today. They will just interact with you and follow up with you on whatever it is you are working on. We call them professional dream partners or professional accountability partners, so that you are not alone in whatever it is you are doing. So have a team of supporters that will continue to fire up this vision that is on the inside of you, that will continue to fire up that vision. It's extremely important. And then if you have friends who are already outside the country that can also be a motivation, my dear, try your best to get them into your dream team. Okay? Hope you are following me. If you are following me, let me see your message. Drop a message. Let me see whether you are following me. Let me see who is still with me. Let me see who is still with me. Let me know whether you are still with me. Let me know whether you are still with me. All right. Very good. Thank you very much. Comfy Touch. Bola Bimpe. Very good. I can see your messages. Thank you. Now, what is the next thing that you need to do to continue to motivate yourself, to stay on course, to stay on track? Is to what? Reflect and review your progress regularly. Okay? Regularly means at least once a week. Take the time to track your progress. Okay? Take the time to do what? To track your progress. In other words, every week. Okay, for example, let me put it this way. Let me put it to you this way. That word. Um, Somebody can say that okay, every week I'm going to solve 6 listening tests every week, or every week I'm going to solve 2 reading tests. So what you do is that what every Saturday, check your records. How many listening tests did I do this week? How many what's it called? How many reading tests did I do this week? Okay, so if you did all the 6 listening tests, that's a very big plus for you. Now check your scores. What are your scores? Did you do self-correction for the ones you got wrong? That's what we mean by what? Reflecting on what you've done and reviewing your progress. Take the time to think about the schedule, your schedule for the week. Ask yourself, okay, I was supposed to do 5 listening tests this week. I did just 1. What went wrong? What happened? Okay, let me give you a secret here. I want you to write it down. Let me see if I can type it out here. What gets scheduled, that's how they say it. What gets scheduled gets done. Okay? What gets scheduled gets what? Gets done. What gets scheduled gets done. That's how they say it. Anything that gets scheduled is what you get done. In other words, if you want to do something, if you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do 5 reading tests this week, you need to schedule it and put it on your calendar. Okay, put it on your, set an alarm on your phone and tell yourself, okay, on Tuesday 6 p.m. reading test, Wednesday 4 a.m. reading test, Friday 3 a.m. reading test, Saturday. You schedule it. What gets scheduled gets done. Don't just say, I'm going to do XYZ number of tests this week. No. That's just step 1. Step 2 is to what? Is to schedule it. Put it on your calendar. Put it on your roster. So that when your phone alarm rings, you know that whatever it is you are doing, you need to drop that thing and come to your IELTS. Or if you are not able to do it, reschedule that listening for another time immediately before you continue whatever it is you are doing that is important. So ask yourself, what were the mistakes I made this week? What were the distractions? Is it that I get distracted at home? What is distracting me at home? Okay, where can I go to that has minimal distraction? Do I need to go to a school in my neighborhood? Or do I need to go to the church in my neighborhood? Do I need to go to a service office in my neighborhood? Is there a quiet place in my office where I can do this thing? Think. Okay? That's reflection. Okay? Also reflect on the difficulties that you are having. What are the difficulties I'm having? Which question type is giving me problem? Which question type? Is it true, false, not giving? Is it matching information? Is it matching headings? Reflect on those things. So this reflection time is something that you need to, take seriously. Don't waste your effort. It's extremely important. Okay? That is another thing. Then be realistic with yourself. I said something along this line earlier on when I was talking about copying people that did IELTS in 2 weeks and passed. No, I said don't try and copy them if you do not have the same background like those people. Okay? Be realistic with yourself, with your mental capabilities. Be realistic with your time. Those people that did IELTS in 2 weeks and they passed, are you sure that you have the same time freedom that they have to study? You are the one that will look at your schedule. Somebody that does that kind of thing, and what I would recommend for that kind of person is, okay, before you go to work in the morning, try and do something. If it's waking up at 3 a.m. to just do 30 minutes of IELTS, is something. 30 minutes. If it means waking up at 4 a.m. to do something that has to do with IELTS, for 30 minutes is something. I'm telling you, 30 minutes every day. At the end of 1 month, that's 15 hours that you have logged in. 15 solid hours. If the important thing here is to be consistent. If it's 30 minutes every day, if you do that consistently every day for 6 months, I'm telling you, you are going to build up the capacity to get band 7.0. I'm not joking, it's a fact. Consistency is going to win this race for you. It's going to win this game for you. Okay, so if you are a very busy person, I'm giving you the consistency rule. 30 minutes consistently every day. Month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, and follow these things I'm telling you here. Review your progress every week. Okay, every week, every week, every week. Don't get tired. Don't get discouraged by any low score. 30 minutes every day is a very small window of time, but when it compounds, I'm telling you, it's going to go far. Okay, so be realistic with your time. Be realistic with your abilities. Run your race. Walk at your pace. Stay in your lane and grow at your pace. Okay, all of us have our journey, so don't try and run another man's journey. Okay, stay in your lane and follow through. It's very, very important. Okay, so be realistic. Okay, give yourself the time. 3 months, 2 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever time it is. Look at your schedule and decide, okay, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? And then work towards it. Okay, and then finally, you need to face this IELTS of a thing with the right perspective. And what is the perspective? There are 3 things when it comes to IELTS. There are 3 things that you are here to learn. They are not really, to be honest with you, they are not really testing your English per se. Now, this one is somehow. They are testing your English, but then they are actually testing your ability to identify tricks. So you need to learn the tricks. That's what you are looking for here. So if you do any IELTS test, especially reading and listening, and you get a low score, it's because you got tricked. You have not mastered many of their tricks. Okay, somebody's thinking, why not just tell us the tricks? The tricks are just so many. There are so many that if I tell you, they will not register in your mind. You need to figure them out yourself by practicing. That's just the truth. Okay, one of the tricks, let me tell you one of the tricks. And I'm sure if I tell you, you will say, you've always been saying this thing. Is it one of the tricks? Yes, it's one of the tricks. One of the tricks is that the examiners want you to read the passage before you read the question. Because they know that if you do that, it's going to waste your time and then you'll not be able to answer all the questions correctly. So one of the tricks is that what? Don't start by reading the passage, start by reading the question. That's one of the tricks. If you don't practice doing that over and over and over, you will not master that trick. You will not master that, what's it called? That strategy. That's just one of the many, many, many tricks of IELTS. So your job here is to learn the trick. So anytime you practice and you get a low score, you need to ask yourself, what were the tricks that made me get these low scores? What were the tricks that I've not mastered that are responsible for this my low score? Okay, that's number 1. Learn the tricks. Number 2 is to build up your vocabulary. Okay, every IELTS listening test that you take should be an opportunity to learn a new English word. Every IELTS reading test that you take should be an opportunity to learn a new English word. If you take an IELTS reading test and you don't learn a new English word at the end of that test, you have just wasted you have wasted your time. If you take an IELTS listening test and you don't learn a new English, at least one new English word, you have wasted time. So your goal is not just to be getting high scores when you are practicing. That's good, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to learn the tricks of the examiners. The second main goal is to build up your vocabulary. And the third main goal is to what? is to improve your skills and your speed. Okay, so that's what we are working on. That's what you should be working on every day. That's what you should be working on every day. Remember that chart that I showed you earlier on, growth. We are growing and improving ourselves with every practice, learning their tricks, building up our vocabulary, and improving our speed and our skill. Okay, so these are things that you need to that you need to keep in mind as you practice. These are things that you need to keep in mind as you go through the lessons. Okay, for those of you that have enrolled for our classes, these are things that you need to keep in mind. Go through every lesson, do every assignment, and keep proper record. Okay, and follow things through. Hope you get my point now. So please, ladies and gentlemen, these are things that you need to keep in mind. Okay, motivate yourself. Don't look at scores. So if there's anything you have not gotten from this session over the past 30, 45 minutes, I'm going to sum everything up in one thing. Don't look at your scores to motivate yourself. Okay, like somebody said, some people say nowadays, they will say that age is just a number. Age is just a number. Okay, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Those scores that you are getting in your IELTS practice, they are just numbers. I'm telling you, they are numbers. Some days ago, I interviewed one of my students that got band 9. Okay, so this lady, I think she had 8.5 in her speaking. I can't remember now, either 8.5 or 8.0. When I did speaking practice with her, and then she was asking me after the practice, she asked me that what score would I give her for her speaking. I told her 7.0. I told her 7.0. At the end of the day, when she did the exam, she had 8.5 in speaking. Can you see that? That shows that score is just a number. That's just to show you that score is just a word. It's just a number. So don't let the scores discourage you or encourage you. Rather, what should you do? Look at your low scores and turn them into what? Into stepping stones. Use them as what? Use those wrong answers. Use the low score as what? As a stepping stone to what? To success. Learn from them. Okay? I hope you have learned something from this training, from this short training session. So please apply these things to your IELTS practice. And I pray that God will grant you wisdom, God will grant you the strength, God will grant you the success that you desire in your IELTS journey. Thank you very much for joining me, and have a beautiful night rest.